Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this clip. Why use XRP? Take a listen.
This is why XRP is better than USD for moving money.
These transactions are happening so fast, you're talking about seconds, that one of the kind of red herrings here is people are like, hey, I've had bank executives say to me, look, we're not going to use cryptocurrencies, there's way too much volatility. And I let them get that out, and then I say, okay, wait a minute, let's actually look at the math on that. When you do a SWIFT transaction, the average transaction, let's just say, is 3 days. That's 270,000 seconds. Trust me, I did the math on that. If you multiply 270,000 seconds in a low volatility asset if you compare that to 3 or 4 seconds in a highly volatile asset like XRP, it turns out you're taking less volatility risk with an XRP transaction than you are a fiat. Now, what happens with SWIFT is someone is hedging that risk for you. When you do a transaction to dollar, yen, what have you, someone's selling you that currency risk to the settlement of 2 to 3 days from now. With XRP, it's happening so fast, you don't really need to hedge it because you're in and out of it in a few seconds. And so
So think about it like this. Why is RLUSD so important right now? First off, crypto at the banks is such a dirty word because they tied it to illicit activity. They talk about it like it's only used to finance terrorism and illicit activity. So no bank wants to touch it. Now, this is an older clip, and nothing has changed since then. We haven't got crypto regulations. We don't have a clear path forward yet for crypto. And that's why RLUSD is going to open up a lot of doors that XRP just can't open. Even though XRP solves a lot of the problems that exist at the banks today. But I think this is going to change very fast once we get regulations in place. Now, this is a clip from Christine Lagarde. She says DLT can offer real benefits to our financial systems, but she addresses multiple things in this 1-minute clip. So let's take a look.
Another key enabler of modern finance is encryption technology. Without encryption technology, there would be no online banking and no electronic payments. But encryption has not only aided the digitalization of traditional finance, it has also facilitated the rise of new asset class and a parallel financial system.
Take notice what she said right there. A parallel financial system. What do I keep telling you? If you get rich, when CBDCs come, you will not be using the CBDC system. They are already creating a parallel system. And you're going to have people that are poor tied to UBI, government money, paid through CBDC. But if you have money or you have crypto, you will be able to use the parallel system. Let's continue.
Crypto assets and decentralized finance. The problems with crypto assets are many, well documented, and not always well addressed. From weak fundamentals to questionable governance and inefficient validation methods. But the encryption technology on which crypto assets are based has so far proven robust. And DLT can offer real benefits to our financial systems through the streamlining of processes and the proper identification.
So when she talks about crypto, you take notice how she changed a little bit and said, well, there's a lot of problems there, and they're going to address those problems. And when they do, it's going to be in the form of crypto regulations. And 99% of crypto is going to disappear overnight. And what we're left with is going to be the future. XRP is going to be one of those cryptocurrencies. And that's why I'm always telling you, when the BIS is talking and the IMF and the ECB and the World Economic Forum, they're telling you already that you're holding the future. And Ripple is partnered with the Digital Euro Association. The Digital Euro Association is delighted to announce its partnership with Ripple as a supporting partner to jointly work on central bank digital currencies. Digital Euro Association 2022. So Ripple is already part of the Digital Euro Association. So what do you think they're going to utilize to move to digital euro? RippleNet and XRP. And Eric shared that with me earlier today on X. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Banks are eyeing XRP as the ultimate bridge currency. Top analyst reveals why XRP could outshine CBDCs and rival digital tokens. So Crypto Tank pointed out here that if smaller banks don't get involved with crypto, say they use JP Morgan coin, well, JP Morgan or even Bank of America coin or any other competitor, if they agree to use their coins, then that could put pressure on the smaller banks. In fact, it could actually put the smaller banks out of business. But by using crypto, that could be a game changer for the smaller banks and keep them relevant, keep them competitive, even with the biggest banks that are out there today. And I was always thinking the same thing. And you know, that SAB 121 bill, the reason it's so important is because it allows the smaller banks to compete with the bigger banks. But the problem is the SEC wants to pick winners and losers. And Gary's always going to pick the big banks over these smaller banks. We've seen it happen with that small bank out there in Wyoming. They weren't allowed to touch crypto. But all of a sudden, BNY Mellon can get involved with crypto. And that's what's wrong here in the United States. You know, everybody should have the competitive advantage. In other words, you should be able to compete no matter how big your rival is. Justin, Gary Gensler confirms Bitcoin is not a security. Take a listen to this.
Here to stay and something that could be useful.
This is something I said to students 4 and 5 years ago.
I know, but you didn't say it to once you were the SEC chairman.
No. That this field will not long persist without investor protection or consumer protection.
Can it persist?
Number two, many of these projects, without prejudging anyone, are tapping into the public's interest to raise money. That's the classic securities sort of protections that you put in place. You can decide to go long or short these projects, but you need the disclosures. And as it relates to Bitcoin, my predecessor and I have said that's not a security. You now have a way that you can actually express that view, buy into that through exchange-traded products, traded on NASDAQ, traded on New York Stock Exchange, and the like.
Take notice how he had to shill the ETFs. It shows you who Gary actually works for. And I even said, the reason that they don't look at Bitcoin as a security is because there's no shakedown money in it for calling Bitcoin a security. I wonder what will happen when Tether collapses and takes Bitcoin with it. What will Gary be saying about retail protection? Oh, that's right. It's about giving BlackRock and others exit liquidity when that happens. You know, you could see what he's shilling. He's shilling the bullshit ETFs for BlackRock. In the green room, there you see Mark Cuban with Gary Gensler. You know, these people are not rivals. These people are one and the same. And even Gary had something to say about this because we know Mark Cuban wants his job. He says he would feel honored to be in this job. And if Mark Cuban wants the job, it's because it's one of the best jobs in Washington. You know, why doesn't Gary just step down already? I don't know who would be worse, him or Mark Cuban. They both make me want to throw up. Gary Gensler is being set up to be the fall guy. Senators on both sides are now saying he is solely responsible for holding back innovation and abuse of power. I'm sure he will have a cushy job at a bank after the collapse is complete. You know, you could see he answered to the big banks. He answered to a handful of corrupt politicians. And now that they no longer need Gary, they're just going to throw him under the bus. And that's what they do here in the United States. They use somebody up until they don't need them anymore. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Tether. I'm going to make a video on that for later today. I'm going to talk about the ties to FTX and things like that. Because, you know, you could clearly see how corrupt the United States actually is. House passes bill to avert shutdown before the election. The House passes a funding bill 341-82 on Wednesday to prevent a government shutdown, relying on Democratic votes after removing Trump's demand for proof of citizenship to vote. With the shutdown deadline looming on October 1st, the bill negotiated by Speaker Johnson now heads to the Senate, where swift approval is expected. The bill funds the government through December 20th, setting up for another fiscal battle before the holidays. You know, they're never going to shut the government down. It's all bullshit. It's just a reason to pass another spending bill so they could spend up another $1 trillion over the coming months. Gold is telling you the Federal Reserve is full of shit. Not a single person on earth thinks inflation is 3%. You know, the Fed could say whatever they want, but you know what? The charts don't lie. The charts tell the truth every single time. So when you see the Fed say something, all you got to do is look at the charts, and they will tell you what's actually happening. Citi is now warning a hard landing could be imminent, and it will force the Fed to aggressively cut rates. Here comes the panic. You know what I think is going to happen? I think the Fed is going to have emergency meetings to cut rates even more, because they're going to cut rates most likely all the way up until the end of the year. And a lot of other people would agree with that. But, you know, as they're cutting rates, you could expect more inflation. And I think they're setting up for that 2025 deep recession. I'm just hoping that crypto moons before that happens. I hope we all get rich off of crypto before that happens. Breaking US dollar index. DXY closes at lowest level since July 2023. And here's the DXY right now. It came up a little bit, but the true story is in the 3-month chart, where the DXY continues to fall off of a cliff. And I expect it to go much deeper. And as the DXY falls, you could expect crypto to rise. We've seen it multiple times. I even showed you how a falling DXY means a bull run for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin takes off, it's going to take the rest of the market with it. All coins are going to start pumping at the same time. But eventually, Bitcoin dominance will also fall, leading us into alt season. And I really hope we see the top before recession really sets in, because a lot of people would already argue that we've been in a recession for over a year now. But nothing looks like it's getting any better. And honestly, I hope going forward, somebody works on crypto regulations. I'll talk more about that in another video. But I definitely want to do a video around FTX and Tether and these corrupt politicians. So I'm hoping to put one together for later today. And I definitely won't make you wait for its release either. But anyway, until it all happens, you gotta stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.